Ready to talk shit. I'm ready to talk about important topics.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, that's a great way.
I
to
worked a
start
full
this
day
recording.
today, which I do every day, but like felt like I was pointed out today.
I know today was a fucking shit show.
I'm gonna share my screen so you can see it. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta look up a guide. I don't know what we were doing. I don't know this game that well.
You gotta follow the drinking gourd.
What? What?
Oh, do you want me to turn on my camera?
No. Why do I care about your camera?
Because your camera's on.
Oh, my camera?
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
can see you. Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's fine. You got some nice posters in the
No,
corner.
I don't want you to fucking see me. Get out of here.
Well, no, I've been
It's
there.
supposed to be a
That's
voice
me.
call. You have been there. I've met you more than once. We're not internet friends. There we go. I want you to see my dumb face. I don't like people seeing my face when
Well,
I'm
it's just
not
the
ready
two
for
of
it.
them? Oh. I face call
We
a
talked
lot
about this.
now.
We talked about that before. I don't FaceTime,
Yeah.
so it's different for me.
What did we there was a topic we wanted to talk about for this week that I completely forgot. You made a note of it.
Did I make a note of it?
Yeah, check your notes.
By the way, the
Okay.
reason we're recording, but for the audience, the reason I'm not moving yet is I'm looking up a guide. So give me a second.
Maybe you should make show notes that are a Google Doc, and I can.
I just have it. All I have in my notes are Carlos walking in on someone in the bathroom. I don't think we got to that.
Oh no, okay.
You said that in the most malicious way possible. I don't know. Okay, yeah. I see.
All right.
I see what
okay,
you
so
mean now. Like, listen, this do be happening a lot. Like,
no, because I remember telling you the story, but not telling listeners at home. And discussing with Juliana.
disgusting
Okay.
or disgusting?
Discussing. Yeah, she found it disgusting as well.
We're going north.
How have you been though since we last spoke last week?
I went to a Red Sox game.
Did they win?
They did win. I think I'm 100% responsible for it too.
Oh, that's is that illegal?
What?
You did point shaving with the opposition team?
I mean, I wasn't betting on it.
Who did they play?
I just threatened some family members. That's all. Like, it's just whatever it takes to win. Okay?
Did you ever watch the movie Celtic Pride?
No.
It's pretty.
But real quick,
Okay.
what? This is gonna sound really bad. I'm still gonna say it anyway. Where do you think the line is for the average, like, really intense baseball fan? Like, actually, we'll just say sports fan. Like, if I said that the Lakers won because I threatened the team members' families, what do you think of the reaction from like a hardcore Lakers fan would be? Would they be like, "Oh man, you shouldn't do that," but I'm so fucking stoked they won? Like, do you think like, is there like a healthy level of like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that,"
Yeah, yeah,
while also being like, "Hey, whatever it takes."
There's a bar. There's a bar.
I just want to know.
like-
So what's past that bar? Like, what's too far?
So to me, I treat professional sports kind of like professional wrestling, where once those players have exited, like honestly, I don't even try to abuse players that much, but there's a level of these are people trying to entertain me, and like as much as I might want my team to win, there's still very much of like, hey, there's a person, you kind of gotta respect it. You can say like, hey
yeah,
man,
so
that really,
you treat them like a human.
yeah.
Is what I'm hearing. All right, that's bizarre, but go on.
But like a good number of people feel like that, and then you have like the ultra crazy, but those people tend to be fascists as well. So like to them anything is fine, you know, anything goes
a
in the
leap.
course of you winning.
I don't disagree with that. Was a leap. Like, I can't remember.
So I'm like, there's probably definitely there would be like a handful of Lakers fans who would be like, you know what, you had to do that to win.
You
I mean,
had to do
maybe-
what you had to do.
In European soccer, that might be a good number of people. And if you're a certain Italian soccer fan, you might actually believe that is a normal course of action.
I don't
So-
get your reference. I'm gonna ignore it. What do you think is the most... Which sport do you think has the worst fans?
Either hockey or soccer.
Why hockey?
Hockey because every single person... Yeah, hockey. Hockey fans are annoying because they love to say, like, our sport's the toughest, so you should like it. Like, oh, your pussy sports player got injured doing that. Well, this hockey player got fucking stabbed with an ice skate and still finished the game. So, like, they're annoying for that reason. But they're just annoying, where soccer is legitimately... It's a lot of people who think you can say whatever you want to another person and that people won't put their hands on you.
Okay. Okay. For any potential hockey fans who are watching this, don't dislike the video just because Carlos is here. You know what you have to do. You have to pay me $200,000.
Yeah, you know what. Start a little GoFundMe. Get that money going.
There's an easy way to stop this. And it's to pay me out of Carlos. Dude, would you like... So, like, what if, like, I didn't even give you any of the money? Like, if they paid me $200,000 to get rid of you and, like, I never spoke to you again, would you, like, take that personally? Or would you, like...
Nah, I gotta respect the game. I respect the game. You hated someone so much that you were like, let me pay to have a friend
them from
cut him
someone
out.
else's life. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I get that. If I have money, I'd do that to some people I don't like.
I don't know that people would, like, abide by it. I'm telling you, the audience, this right now. I will abide by it. I never speak to this man again. I think there might be a latent part of me that's like, I'm just waiting for it. Just like,
that sounds like a fun movie plot.
I don't know that it would be a fun movie plot.
I think you could take it somewhere fun.
That's true. Like
I feel Seth Rogen would do a good job with it.
Is he was the friend who was removed, or if he removed the friend?
Either way, I think he could do both roles.
I do. I think he is talented. Are we allowed to say that he's talented? I don't know how people feel about Seth Rogen. I know
people love Seth Rogen.
I know he gets pigeonholed into like the same kind of role in every single fucking movie he's in, but I do think he's a talented actor.
No, I think how I look at it is they still booking him.
Yeah.
Like, the role still hits. Like Don Cheadle said that the course of his success is like first trying to like, oh, what the hell is this? And then becoming, oh, we want more of that. And then becoming like, oh, we need someone who mirrors that.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Oh yeah, where it's like, we need a Don Cheadle type. It's like you can get Don Cheadle. Like it's, I'm not that expensive.
Seth Rogen is in that. And also,
I think he's approaching the Seth Rogen type moniker.
Yeah, but also I'm like, what is the next white boy pothead, comedian? Or is he the last of a dying kind?
Well, then here's the other thing: does that, now that like marijuana is more widely accepted, does that novelty wear off? Where it's like that's just fucking Steve. Like it's not like a character trait anymore.
True, it's like in Cheers, like being an alcoholic was a character trait. Now we don't really have alcoholism as like, oh, that's his funny quirk.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like. I don't think that's true anymore. I think now they're just like, oh, do you need help? Like,
yeah, like, hey, we have a hotline.
We know the stats about this. Like, it's real bad. Like, we're not just gonna leave you like hanging you out to dry here. Should I have climate change learn torment?
Yeah. I love how that's a dark power.
Yeah, there's a dark type. It doesn't deal damage, so I'm not gonna use it.
Okay.
Alright, Josie's gonna learn bite. Has Josie ever bit anyone?
No.
You answered that too quickly. That was rehearsed. That was rehearsed.
There was a close... I thought she was going to do it this weekend, and I was shocked that she didn't. So I was like, wow, shout out to her.
She bite children? She should.
No, she's never... And she even played with a 2-year-old this weekend, so I thought, like, oh, this is going to be the time she nips someone.
Disembowel her. Like.
Actually, no, she does bite someone. She bites Juliana, but that's different.
Well, that's fine.
That's Juliana's fault. She know that dog. She know that dog don't like to play like that.
She know that dog got that dog in her. That's not a very good joke. It's
a funny meme. A very dumb, funny meme.
It's one of those ones where it's just so stupid. But I still laugh at it, and I hate myself for it.
I love the Photoshop. The Photoshop is the best part.
because the photoshops are always horrifically bad. Like it's just like someone just took a stock photo of a dog, and then put it over a stock photo of an X-ray. It's like they got that dog. I'm like, what is this? What are we doing?
I also love that in bad sports photoshops. So like, when there's rumors of a player getting traded, they'll start being photoshops of that player wearing the other team's jersey, right? My favorite is when they like take a black guy's head and put it on a white body.
Oh God.
Just clearly not that person. Or they forget to change the numbers and shit, and you're like, oh, so you use that person's body? They don't even look similar.
That's pretty funny. Are you gonna pick up the new Digimon game when it comes out?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm playing the PS Plus shit is so good to me because it has just so much, especially the streaming on PS3 games. I'm like, oh cool, I ain't gotta wait for a download. I can just get this cracking right now.
That is a very unique one where it's like that's not applicable for everyone, and I do understand that. I've never had a problem with the streaming the PS3 games personally, except for like one time at like work. And I was like, whatever, like this would have been nice to have anyway. But I definitely see where it's like that should not be the standard, and I'm glad they moved away from it. Like, yeah, I like that they give you the option. It's like, oh, you want to download this, just stream it. Like, that's pretty cool.
Granted, I haven't tried it. I remember it used to be a thing though. If you streamed it one time while you were downloading it, you'd have to make sure to click like on the right one, or else you would open up the stream version again.
Oh, weird.
Oh, my sister's calling me.
Oh, you gonna take this?
No, she, I think it was a butt dial. Because I called her like a little bit ago, and I'm like, ain't no reason why she got a question now.
Did you tell her that you told the story of that time she almost got caught?
No.
Are you ever gonna tell her that?
Yeah. If you pay Nick $250K, we need to come up with a whole list of just dumb stipulations. Especially if you pay $250K though, I tell my sister this story, but like I can't come back on the channel.
No, so we'll never know. They'll have to put it on trust, and also the $50K just goes to me. So I don't know why like we're giving you the incentive. So one thing I was thinking about is I don't know if you remember this, or I don't know if you even knew about this joke, to be honest. But I used to do an incentive whenever I would whenever we did like an anniversary, if I did like donation goals of like, oh, if we hit this much, I'll do this and so and so. I would always make like an unattainable one, like probably 10 times like whatever like the like next highest one was. I would just be like, I will kill Carlos on video. and no one ever took me up on that.
I'm glad.
I'm glad we've changed. I'm glad we've changed the terms where now your life is no longer in danger.
Isn't it crazy though? You've been doing this for so long.
10 years.
Yeah, and how much do you think you've changed?
That was the first thing I said in the 10-year anniversary video. I was like, do you know how many fucking arcs I've gone through in these 10 years? Like, I lived with my mother when I started this.
Oh
like,
God.
That's how old this was. Like, I wasn't even in college. I think I had like been still going to Cape Cod for a year. That's how long ago this was. I started in 2012.
God damn, the world is supposed to end.
Yeah. How different is your life since I've started
10 years?
streaming? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now I got 2 degrees. I've been featured prominently on the channel.
Yeah. So which one is more impressive? You don't have to answer. We know. Like,
the Charlie Murphy special is more important to me than my master's degree.
Oh my God, we can't. I had to.
So, oh yeah.
Kazuki Takahashi passed away today. This is gonna date this video. But that's fine. For the 10 people who are still watching by the time this video comes out.
Imagine if this is the one that goes viral.
They won't. I mean, I've been surprised. Sometimes random ones in my on my like series have gone viral, but yeah. So Kazuki Takahashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, passed away snorkeling by himself in Okinawa, which is very sad. And you know, that's a big bummer. Huge fan of Kazuki Takahashi. I own all of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga for the original series, and obviously big fan of the game. And so are you.
Yeah,
but
I mean, also that original manga run, that's up there.
I forgot that you've read that. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I like that it wasn't just all about the card game, which is like the best part of it. When they said King of Games, he fucking meant King of Games. Like, it's like you have to beat people at every single game.
Also, I love how creative it was. It was
Yeah, the
someone
games he
being
came up
deeply
with
in their
were
bag.
like really, really good. Like, I kind of wish we could go back to that time, but obviously now we definitely can't. But
Yeah. I mean, hey, who knows? But it's sad.
do you know something I don't know? Like,
No, I just mean licensing and whatnot. People just
I guess I don't really see because it's owned by Konami. You know,
Yeah.
famous risk takers. Like, it's
But I mean, depending on, it mostly comes down to like not only Konami as well as like what the estate says. Because like there was a period of time where you would never hear a Prince unreleased song or like a deep cut, but then as soon as that his estate holders got a hold of that, they were like, "Let's release the fucking vault." And I'm like, I never wanted to hear unfinished Prince songs.
yeah. I've seen a bunch of artists that like since that stuff have been like, hey. If I die, don't release the unreleased tracks. If I wanted them to be released, guess what? I would have released them. Like, it's a very simple concept.
But like, I also understand it as it's a way for.
I get it, but I'm also like, it's greed. Like, let's be real.
I mean, to me, it comes down to mostly like who's the person releasing what. Like, if it was someone who didn't last that long, I understand their estate trying to be like, well, we gotta milk everything we can out of it because it's not like we have a wide body to license out. But like with Prince, I'm like, he had a 40-something year career. If he wanted that shit to be on the floor, but anyway.
But the reason I bring it up is that way back when Carlos and I would weekly or semi-weekly would do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy Duelists streams or recordings where we'd face each other. We did one, I think, the day of Charlie Murphy's death. Charlie Murphy being Eddie Murphy's brother, but most commonly known from his appearances in Chappelle's Show. And I don't think it was in poor taste, but
We wouldn't make that joke nowadays.
questionable taste for sure. Like, that wasn't that long ago. That was only like 4 or 5 years ago. Like,
That's long enough. We are growing as people.
but basically, the idea was that, or I think he was like enough of a minor celebrity that we got away with it, but we could not do it. Like Kazuki Takahashi,
No.
the creator of the same game. That would be very in poor taste.
Yeah, someone would get us out of here, bro.
So I had to say that immediately. Like when Carlos texted me that, I said like, "Oh, I just heard," and I was like, "We cannot." Like I had to. The first thing I said was like, "We cannot do a memorial episode. Like I need to nip this in the bud right now." Like, but then it's a bummer. Anyway, shifting gears.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was trying to think of like what to pivot to, because I'm like, damn, Yu-Gi-Oh though, great 10-year anniversary.
No, not of Yu-Gi-Oh. Of me.
Yeah, of you making this channel. How many like? Did you think
do you wanna,
10 years?
Do you want to interview me on things that have changed or on channel stuff? Because you're very much like you're on the inside, but you're also largely on the outside.
I mean, one thing a viewer can easily see is your confidence in editing has grown. But like, what's it been like to develop that skill?
Well, I mean, so I'm not really. I get Spencer makes fun of me for this all the time, which I think is bullshit. But I don't really edit that much. I largely what I do is I sync audio tracks, make sure everything's lined up, and then I from there I make sure that everything's like correct and like it doesn't look like shit. And that's pretty much it. I'll usually just send it to go. I don't know how I feel about this policy, but my thing is typically more quantity. It's like not quantity over quality, but like quantity is the bigger focus, and then quality is still there, but not like as big. Does that make sense?
But also, with since the majority of content is Let's Plays, most of this is really just a relaxing, like chill session with Nick. It's not you telling jokes for like that you prepared a week ago.
No. I used to keep notes when I would go to record because when I was still like, that's the thing I think has changed the most. Is I've gotten a lot better at filling dead air and like vamping. And I don't mean like talking about nothing. I just mean like having more confidence to like speak, I guess. And that wasn't really a skill I was particularly thought I was bad at, but I've definitely honed it to the point where
it's
like
a skill we've learned that I'm bad at.
takes practice. to the point we've learned, or I've learned that like when I'm in Zoom meetings with like people and stuff like that, I will be the one to like break the silence most often when it's like feeling like slightly awkward and like kind of like shift it around and stuff. Like it's turned into a very good like people skill, which like again I don't think I was ever really bad at. Like I don't think I was bad at people skills. I would often choose not to use them, but like compared to the fucking people I work with, and that's not a knock on them. I'm just like it's it's a bunch of like kind of nerdy gamers, or it's like socializing isn't like their like priority skill. And certainly some more than others, but like. I feel pretty confident.
You're trying to tell me that gamers don't socialize well with others?
Well, you know why? It's because they're oppressed. But
oh yeah, like all oppressed groups.
Yeah. But I would say. So that being said, I don't really edit I don't edit as much as like a lot of YouTube stuff I do, like short form content does. But my skills have definitely grown over like 10 years. Like I've been in a couple courses in college, and I've been in a couple like things where it's like. Someone will like bring up like a Photoshop thing, which I have done a ton of for thumbnails, or someone will bring up like how to like do basic like audio engineering, and I'm like, oh, I know how to do this, I'll just do it. It takes like 5 minutes. Whereas for other people it'd be like a afternoon of Googling and all sorts of other stuff. I'm like, it's whatever. It's super simple. Like so I like that. Shit. Sorry, Reptar. Yeah, I think you were starting to ask, do you think I would have believed I'd be here like 10 years ago? No. Yes and no. I think I'd probably would have hoped. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, here we go. I think I'd probably have hoped I'd be like this. Can you like move slightly away from the microphone? I can hear a little echo.
Yeah.
Like I would hope, but like I think I'd either A, think I'd be further, or B, I think I would have made it all. Like there's no middle ground, which is very much what my channel is, the middle ground.
Like that's the tagline.
Well, like I've talked about it before, where it's like I make enough where like I have to file my taxes as a small business owner, but obviously I'm not like fucking Markiplier or like Critical or anything like that. Like I'm just sort of a dude.
Well, I feel like those guys don't have as much fun, as crazy as that sounds.
I'm sure there's different forms of fun where it's like part of the reason why my growth is very slow is that I very much play the games I want to play. You don't see me like forcing myself to play like Fortnite or like shit on games that are like it's popular shit on and stuff like that. Like I give my real opinions, like, and I'm not putting on an act. Like this is me. If you met me in real life, this would be me. Albeit probably a little bit more like, I don't really want to talk to you. Like, like I just don't really like socializing, but I could fake it, as we just discussed. And that's really what counts in the end. Can you fake it? What else, though? I'm trying to think of what else I've changed. I don't know. Ask me questions.
Is there a video? Is there a video of yours that you're like, this is my magnum opus? Like, if you want to get a condensed version of what this channel is about, or a series?
That's a good question. I mean, I have a couple that I'm a big fan of, like a couple that I really like. I can't really think of like a standout series. I do have favorite series that I think most people slept on, like most of the viewers slept on. Like, one of the big things about doing Let's Plays and stuff like that is, like, there are a couple different ways to approach it. There's, you go in blind, because then you have the people who get to watch you play it for the first time. That's obviously fun to watch. Then there's two other categories. You have to be really, really good at a game, so it's like, wow, I was playing this different. Like, a good example is, like, you watching me play Hades. Or you have to be really bad at the game. And then there are other things of, like, and I guess the fourth one is, like, are they raging at the game? Like, are they miserable? Because the people like enjoying that too. So, one of the series that I'm like very, very, very good at, and I did an entire playthrough of, and it's one of my favorite game series of all time, but I don't think that many people watched it, was Okami. I had a lot of fun with that playthrough, and it was very fun to go through and like show some hidden stuff and stuff like that. Just people just really didn't really vibe with it. Which, you know, I can't really blame them if they've like never seen it before. Like maybe watch a couple episodes here and there. Single video, we have a couple ones. I think one of the most fun videos and a video that we could not replicate was the Valentine's Day video that you and me did with John Barnett.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember that? The how to get a girl. Of just like, it's all about your frame. Which is one of the most insane sociopathic things I've ever heard to this day still. And then reading it out loud was pretty great. I don't know. I know you're not, like, I'm not going to put you on the spot and be like, what's your favorite girl? Because I know you don't really watch too much of my stuff. But, like, have there been things that, like, even though you don't really watch my stuff because you're not really, like, a YouTube watcher, like, have there been things that you have looked at and you're like, this is pretty good?
I like.
If you
like,
say no, this is real bad. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Watching you play something like Binding of Isaac or Subnautica, shit that I'm legitimately never ever gonna play. Probably
just never gonna play.
I know that you like them, and I know that they're probably a lot of fun. But I watch you play them, and I'm like, everything that I see you having fun doing, I'm like, that's not how I think. That wouldn't be fun for me. So it's just watching that, and also like again. I've known you for so long. It's really interesting to track your own growth as a person with this channel, because I definitely feel like I wouldn't say confidence has ever been an issue for you, but mostly.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point too. You've watched like the real me, over time while I'm doing this.
I feel like you're less putting yourself into ridiculous situations and more allowing yourself of like, I don't know, some real maturity in terms of like. When you are avoiding conflict now, it's not mostly because you're like, oh, I'm just gonna tell this ridiculous shit. And you're not gonna know how to react to it. It's mostly now you're just like, you're a lot more smart. Just like, I can avoid this entirely just by not even letting you know that it's happening right now.
That was kind of vague, so I'm not really. I'm having trouble grasping on what you're talking.
Never mind.
A specific example of like. No. I've become less of a shithead. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, pretty much. As well as like I remember in the first couple videos, the humor was just, like, from what I remember, not at all. Like, I also remember you kind of, like, changing your language before me because you were like, I'm doing this thing now. Where I used to...
I kind of know what this is getting at, and it's something I bring up a lot.
And just, like the homophobia jokes that I used to kick it in high school... You were kind of quick to be like, "Hey, can't really do that. I'm working on this thing. You know, you had something to lose." And then so it's just both of us being like, "You know what? We can drop all this evil shit because it's not worth it."
I actually credit you with that. I don't credit myself. You were the first person to start calling me on some of that stuff. And they're the two words that come to mind. The F slur for the LGBTQ community, which I almost said in my very first video, and I fucking hate it because I was at the time was already trying to change my language. So I remember like a little earlier than that, like a Twitter account like I barely used. I just like we were in high school. I would like call you it or whatever. And like at one point you were like, can you delete this tweet because it shows up when people search my profile? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, and I just nuked the entire account. I was like, I don't want to deal with any of this. Let's just delete the account. And then I made another different one. Fun fact, because I used to automatically upload my my videos to Twitter, which apparently some people liked. YouTube doesn't offer the option anymore. Because I used to do that. Yeah, those like sites where it's like, are they like a shill or a bot? They think I'm a bot because for like years the only tweets I did were just uploading YouTube uploads. So even still they think I'm a bug or I'm a bot, and I'm like, I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, like I get it. So there was that, and the other word was the R word. I initially was one of those people who like scoffed when people were like, let's spread the word to end the word. I remember we had a friend who used to say that, and I was like, that's the stupidest fucking... And it's like, eventually I was just like, mature. I'm just like, I don't... The amount I gained from being able to say that word is far eclipsed by people who are hurt by it. to the point where I'm like, I just don't care enough. Like, there are other words. Like, it doesn't matter. I've talked about this before. There's only one word that if it suddenly became, like, if people were like, you have to give up this word that I'd really fucking struggle with, and it's fuck. It's just fuck at this point. Fuck is such a multi-use word that if I had to give up fuck, I'm like, I don't know. I just call me a bigot. I can't, like, I don't know who this is a slur for, but I can't give it up. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, even as I joke about this, like, if it was something like that, eventually I just give it up. It's maturity. I just don't care enough. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know who this is going to turn into. I think I do, but I'm not sure. So, you don't know this, Carlos, I guess, or you might not be familiar. Eevee has...
Yeah, Eevee's got like 7 strains.
It is 7. I'm surprised you did know that.
I'm a genius.
Well, so, here's the thing, is 3 of them require stones, and then 2 of them require evolving in a certain spot. So it's either... Or, I guess, sorry, there's 8. So it's either Espeon, Umbreon, or Sylveon. I think it's probably Umbreon, because I think it's night outside in the game. Because someone wanted to play fucking late.
I'm sorry.
So we'll see.
Did you not want the night one?
I prefer the psychic one. It's like my second favorite Pokemon. But we didn't get that one either. I think we got the fairy one.
I always thought it was cool that Eevee.
Oh no, we did. We get the dark.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, it's
that looked like a Hotep ass fucking.
Don't say. You can't say that.
Yes, I can. I can say that shit. Shit look like it's telling you to keep your third eye open.
Shut up. You're right, but shut up. The fuck is that?
So 10 years, 10-year anniversary. Do you remember a certain, like, was there a point where you ever lost hope in the channel? You were like, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing this.
Yeah.
All right, when? Talk to us.
I've like genuinely for most of my life, or most of my 10-year career in YouTube, I've just been sort of like, well, I mean, even if I don't really think it's working out that much, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, as long as I just keep uploading stuff, like, it's fine. Like, it will never, like, I'll never hit below a certain threshold as long as I keep uploading. There was one point, and I think everyone probably goes through something similar. When I was streaming Dark Souls blind, and like for some reason the YouTube algorithm just kept giving me viewers, like people who like normally weren't part of the channel and stuff like that, and like I kind of let it get to me because I was like, if I can maintain these numbers, and I was for like weeks, I was maintaining those numbers, then you know I could actually grow this into something. To the point where like I told my work I need to take one less shift a week, like. I was like, I could really, you know, fucking turn some stuff around here. I could make some stuff happen. And then my Dark Souls file broke. Like, literally corrupted save. Like, one of the only times in my life any video game has had a corrupted save. Yeah. Where, like, I would load in and the game would just be broken. And, like the world would be, like, clipping through and stuff like that. And there was nothing I could do to fix it. There was no, like, rollback. It fully broke. And I've never had that happen in the game. And, like, so I was like, oh, well, I'll just go back to streaming other games. And then, like, just didn't work out. Just, you know, the Dark Souls people left, and the Digimon people wanted more Digimon. It's just sort of like, oh, well. It's kind of a smack in the face with the reality of, like, I guess they really, like... One of the things that's, like, really hard to come to terms with the whole YouTube thing is, like, I am aiming for people to come to this channel for me. Which is not a selfish thing when you build a channel, like, around yourself. But I do know, and I recognize at this point, and it's hard to, but I think that's part of the growth, is like there are some people where it's like, they tolerate me, or like they're like, he's fine, or like even like he's got some good days and some bad days, but they're mostly here for the games I play. And that's like the big thing with the the Digimon viewers are a big part of that. Like every time I do a Digimon video that does way more than anyone else, and I'm like, there's a reason for that. Like it's a niche. There's not a lot of people like playing Digimon games, so like again, they tolerate me because I'm playing something they're interested in. And that's a little bit humbling, but it's also a little bit like, I don't know, depressing in a way. I'm just like, damn, I'm just here putting my like real personality out here, and some of you guys are going like, eh. Like, that's a very humbling experience. So I'm fighting these trainers for XP, and then I'm going back and healing, because I don't want to just, like, waste my items when healthcare is free in this world. But that does make me appreciate the people who are like, what's Nick playing? Fuck yeah, I'll watch whatever he's playing. People watching these videos right now, those are the people that I'm like, yeah. And it's cultivating those audience members is good. Because honestly, the people who watch everything, like, and the people who comment all the time and are active in the Discord and stuff like that, I would trade 50 Digimon viewers for one of them who are like stick with the channel for years. Like, that is one thing that's been a little weird. That nobody really talks about with YouTube stuff is that people come and go. There's some people who will be like super active for like a couple of years and they'll just vanish one day. And
I think about that as someone who follows like people on Twitter, and all of a sudden one day without notice they just stop tweeting.
I only saw one person who that's happened to. I actually can't even remember her name right now, but I'll message you about them later.
It's happened with me for a couple times, and like sometimes I'm like, oh, they were just a journalist who got really fed up and like went on to something else. And then a couple of times it's like, no, that person died, and like the sibling logs on. Like it was a YouTube reviewer who I really enjoyed. He was some like English kid, and like he did great jobs with FPSs. And then one day mom uploads the video of like, yep, he died, and I'm like, god damn, like
Jesus.
It's such a weird part of it, but
no, it's real. I just
what is the easiest type of content for you to do? Like, what is there a video that you were like, oh man, that was just like pissing in the wind?
It's a really weird way to describe that, and I think you knew that as you were saying it.
Yeah, I know, but more of like you were just like, ooh, I'm really this is easy to make and people are vibing.
So there are, because again, I've been doing this 10 years. I've kind of operationalized a lot of this stuff. So there are ways to like make me like more interested in games. Like, so it's similar to like what the kind of content people want to watch. Like for instance, I really like if it's a game I really enjoy. Like we use Okami for an example again. Like playing Okami, like that's a good bit of the way there to make it easier to record. I'm like, I already like this game. I'm just talking while I play it. That's fine. Another factor is if I'm streaming it, how active is the chat? Like, I know that's like that's a weird metric to go by, but genuinely, when the chat is more active and like there's more like conversation back and forth, I'm putting out less effort to like kind of keep like, you know, to perform quote unquote, or like to just be like on, because I can like interact and it's not like all on me to like monologue essentially. So that makes it here. Another one is if it's a new game, is like, because it's sort of like finding it out as I go, and stuff like that. Especially if it's like a game I'm like into or something. But it's like that's enough for me to like kind of push through it. But a lot of it, and I talked about this in a different video recently. Like I've talked about, like I just have a weird motivation with games where it's like it's very hard for me to just play a game like just for fun. Like I have to really, really enjoy it for that to happen. Which you know, that's not that rare. But like for instance, I bring up the Switch where it's like I've completed so many games on PlayStation. I've completed like 4 games on Switch, like because trophies are a big part of it. But for Switch, it's like I have to like sit down with a console that's not as powerful and play this game. It's like they better have some really good hooking mechanics. Like I don't play like average games for fun. Like I'll play them if they have like somewhat easy trophies and stuff like that because it's subjective. So it gives me a goal to like aim for. But if it's like, no, just sit through this like 80-hour game that you're just sort of like only kind of enjoying, I'm like, I'm just not gonna do it then. But if I'm recording it, that also like adds that like kind of external validation in a way where it's like okay, well, even if I'm not really like super excited to play this, like at least I know that people have been requesting it, people want to see me play this. I'll do it, that's fine, and that gives me another like motivation to play. That only goes so far, like to a point where like I'm just like I don't want to play this anymore. People will be like, please.
What's a game you've quit because you're just like, even though the views were there, but you're like, this game sucks?
Very rarely. Mostly because games just don't last that long. Like, yeah, usually we'll beat them before that happens. Or I'll just like bitch and moan about it the entire time and be like, you did this, chat. You made me play this and I hate it. Like, but Digimon World 2 was mine. I think I did 20. I did 26 videos. And the views like were slowly going down, but they were still like somewhat consistent before I finally just said like, hey guys, I'm not gonna play this anymore because I'm just not really enjoying it. And then like 10 different comments were like, yeah, it was getting kind of boring. I wasn't really like as interested anymore. I'm like, why the fuck didn't any of you say anything? Why have I been going this long? I could have been playing something else. Like, what the fuck? That was like the first moment where I was like, oh, they won't tell you. Like, you literally have to like, there's so much in YouTube that like, you have to kind of feel out because like, trying to get comments from people is like pulling fucking teeth. And I get it because I'm the same way. How many times have you watched a video where someone said like, "Hey, leave a comment if you have like a suggestion for this or something like that," and you just left without liking it, disliking it, commenting? Yeah, it's not that common. Like,
I'll dislike a video though.
See, I only dislike a video if it's like hateful shit,
yeah,
or if it's like badly done. One thing I'll think back on is before Ray Narvaez Jr. Started doing like his own like highlights and stuff like that. Some people would like take his streams and like make their own things, but like I think I talked about this with you as it was happening. But there was just like one dude who like got like a little bit more views and stuff like that for them, and I watched his like Dark Souls cut up because I think Ray had like, I don't know, like 12 hours of Dark Souls. He cut it down to 5 hours, which isn't enough in my opinion. Like if you're gonna cut it down, like, I don't know, aim for like under 2 hours. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not a full mini series.
I'm not saying it has to be like 20 minutes, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but like I was watching it, and every time Ray made a joke or like a quip or something like that, he would splice in that stupid fucking meme of like, "Ha, got him," like the original version of it. And I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, whatever. And I was also like, that's the first time I've actually like heard the audio to this. I've like seen the image, but I've like never seen like, I've never heard the audio. I'm like, that's a really annoying clip. And he cut it in 48 times or something like that. It was like the only fucking edit he did was like he would just like keep cutting that in, never Ray made a joke. And like I remember like, when Ray announced like, hey guys, if you keep taking my videos and stuff like that, because now I'm editing my own. I will, like, you know, report them for copyright and stuff like that, because it's his recordings. He can do that. Because he was like, you know, I just want to make sure I, like, own my own footage, and there's nothing out there, like, you know, I want to be in control of my own stuff, which I really do agree with. And, like, hearing the guy go, like, you know, I was making his content better. And I was like, better? What? This is the laziest shit I've ever seen. Like, what do you mean, better? Like... And I just like to get like up like that. So it's like stuff like that where I'm like, I'll dislike that because I'm like, this is genuinely bad editing. Like, you need to work harder on this. But no, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm like, hey guys, if you like a video and you want to keep seeing it, engage with it. So comment on it, like the videos, stuff like that. If you don't, then I just don't see those numbers, and eventually I'm just like, okay, well, people aren't watching it, so I stop making it. Like. And it's just like, I don't know. I get it too, because like sometimes there's just not much to comment on. Like I try to give like good prompts. Like I literally just as we're doing this, I made a prompt for in one of the Digimon video where it's like, hey, which of these two people are you on? Like, are you Team Nokia or Team Yuko? And they're like two complete polar opposites. So like it's a slam dunk of people just being like, oh, this person because of this and this. Like, giving them a reason to comment is better than just saying, leave a comment. Because, like, it's like, what am I going to write? Like, this was a good video, thanks. Like, to be fair, I'd appreciate that, but I'm still, like, I get it. Like, I am human, and I do watch YouTube. Like, I get what it, like, sometimes I'm asking what seems like the unreasonable questions. Yeah, that's what happens. What else you got? Anything else you've been questioning about the YouTube thing? I can tell you the different like arcs I've gone through over these 10 years. Let's go and see if that like blows you away. Then we can go and see how different your life is in 10 years.
Living at home with your mom, graduating.
I'm not graduating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember that whole saga? So what Carlos is
close but no cigar era.
Yeah. So when I was originally recording these, I was living at home. I lived with my mother. I lived with my two siblings, stepdad, like everyone in the fucking world. So, like, there were so many people I was living with at the time. And I remember a big thing that I haven't had to think about in a while is I used to have to, yeah, is audio. I have to like keep it down because I'd be like embarrassed because I'm like, I don't want people to hear me recording stuff. That's weird. But it'd be stuff like that. But it would also be what's a good way to put it? It would also be like sometimes people just walk in the room. Like Mark used to walk in the room all the time because we shared a room, and I would just like feel awkward where I was like, I don't want to keep talking while Mark is like getting ready for work or something. It's so weird. Or like my dad would come in or something. I'm just like, it's just so uncomfortable. And then like I eventually moved into college, and that was good. But then my roommate, we lived in who was very, very quiet, except he would watch a lot of comedies, and he was really when I say he was quiet, I mean like he didn't really like to speak that much, but he would laugh really loudly. like he just saw the funniest shit he'd ever seen on stuff like Family Guy and stuff like that. But it would just be like, it would just go from like complete silence, just like full blown top of your lungs laugh. And I would just be like, I can't record like this. Like it's a lot. So that was when I was in college, and then I went home and moved home with my dad this time, which was quieter. But like occasionally, because I had a stepmother, she would just fucking yell and scream because that's how people like that they operate.
That's living with other people.
Well, it's like no, it was like it's an insane level of screaming, but it was like stuff. I was like, this is just part of this is my life until I get my own place. There's nothing I can do. Then I moved in with roommates, and they were largely pretty quiet, but similar things where it's like they would laugh really loud, or like they would just have like really loud like there wasn't a lot of insulation between the doors and stuff like that. So, which is why eventually like I moved all my equipment to the closet era. Where I would just like record in this closet with like a TV and like a couch, because it was just easier. And I could be like more like, I guess, freeing, or I could be like more myself. And now I live alone, and like I haven't thought about noise in a while. Like I just like occasionally the neighbor kids will be like in the hallway and like yell and scream because they're like toddlers, but that lasts for like 5 minutes tops. So I'm like, it's fine. And it's great. Living on your own is pretty top tier. But like that's another thing. Like when I started work, I think I was like 1 year into my job at Tedeschi's when I started this. So I like for like 7 years of my channel, or like 6 years of my channel, I worked overnight shifts. And then I quit that. I worked at GameStop for a while, and then now I work at a game studio. I work at WB Games. There's so many things about my life that if you like told me back then, I wouldn't have believed you. And there's so many things that I would have been like, wow, I did it. Like,
it's always interesting to me to think about, like, just take away the internet, right?
Sure.
Because also I could see you as being someone who either moved to LA or to New York.
Well, so that was always the thing. It was like I had two potential career paths. It was I'm going to get into stand-up or comedy writing and stuff like that, or I'm going to do something with video games. And for a while, I kind of went back and forth on those two. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I finally got an opportunity at Game Studio, and I was like, oh, I guess this is the path I chose.
Like if you were born if
I was
we were
born
in like the 80s,
or if I was born with any form of safety net or support. I probably could have made those things happen if I didn't have to crawl my way up to be level with everyone else. Like,
I was going to say,
if I didn't go through my adult,
if
I didn't have to go through my adult life, having every single person being like, it's so amazing how far you've come considering what you've gone through. I'm like, I am level with people who are like starting their lives right now. What do you mean? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me, please. Like, and they're like, you're so brave. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm surviving. Like, it was such a weird thing. Mark hates this too, because he used to get the same thing. But whenever someone would say, like, you know, considering how far you come because of your circumstances, it's really impressive. It's like, but it's not impressive by normal standards. Those are the ones that everyone else is judging me on. Like,
maybe they shouldn't.
Still. Like, well, that's the kind of thing I mean, where it's like, okay, but that doesn't help me in a job interview. Like, it's like, well, I had a really rough pass. Like, okay. How are you with Excel? Like, it's not like a thing.
That's actually something really that's like so annoying about job interviews. I'm like, especially as someone who like changed careers, but also when you change institutions and whatnot, they'll be asking you super specific things about like the software they use at their job, and I'm like, motherfucker, I don't know. I'll figure it out though. You pay me enough, I'll figure it out.
Oof. They're basically cheating here.
Yeah. Are you proud that you've never done a skit video for YouTube?
No, because I think I could make a funny one. I think I have it in me.
Would you do like a CGI wall and some bullshit?
CGI wallet?
Like a green screen. Like
Oh, I never
go
got
full nostalgia critic.
You want to know a funny thing about green screen stuff? Because I know you're not like super in this this environment, I guess. I'm trying to think of a good way to put this.
No, talk shit. Talk shit on them other streamers.
No. I'm genuinely trying to think how to win this Pokemon battle right now. I'm like, what do I do next? Green screens were a big thing where it's like when people were streaming or when people were recording content and they like would show their face, they would have a backdrop, and the backdrop would they'd like for a while like it was supposed to be like empty, so that you'd use a green screen to make it look like you were just like by yourself. And then after like 5 or 6 years of that, it shifted to now people just like having like backgrounds, like just like seeing like all the cool like nerd shit you have in the background. I'm like, fucking, that's all I've ever been doing. Like what do you mean? Like I was just like I was early, but I wasn't wrong. Like it's one of those weird things. And eventually we'll shift back to green screen. But it's just more of like, I guess this is the comparison I used. Like I used to compare myself to Spencer a lot because he's the only person I knew who streamed. Spencer was very, very like, he watches a lot of Twitch and stuff like that, so he's very like in tune with that environment. Whereas
Jesus, he fucked you up.
He's got a rough typing. He's steel and fighting, which I don't know all the weaknesses of. Hold on, I've lost enough here. Let me figure this out.
Put the
steel fighting takes damage from other fighting moves, ground, and fire. Oh, so I wasn't on the right track. Damn,
he took out climate change.
What was I gonna say though? But so I would compare myself to Spencer, and I guess the way I would always compare myself to Spencer, and this is not like a dig at him or anything, was that Spencer was very good about like making sure he had like the right tech, making sure he had the right programs, making sure he had like the right like switching and stuff like that. So it's like he had the look of a professional streamer, but like I don't know that he was always like playing the most interesting games, or like his like scheduling and stuff was always weird. Like he would stream at like 9 p.m. at night or something like that. And one of the things I was always conscious of, because I learned very early on that for some reason, good part of my fandom is fandom. Yeah, I can say that. No, a good part of my subscribers are from like all over the world. I have people on the West Coast. I have people in the UK. A surprising amount of people in the UK. So like I try and make my streams like I try and aim for like neutral time slots, if that makes sense. So that like anyone can kind of join. Like if I try to stream, I try to stream at like at the latest like 5 p.m. EST, God's time, because time zone. But because of yeah, this is rough. I don't like the healing so much. But because then it'll only be like at the latest like 10 p.m. over in the UK. I'm like, that's fine. Like that's not that like crazy. So that's like the big thing is like I was more focused on like, you know, content of like I would like try and like play for a while. I'd play like games people were interested. I'd try to like vary things up. Even if my streams kind of looks jank or didn't look that professional, I was like, I'd rather like, you know, let's not put the cart before the horse, kind of deal. Yeah, I'm glad you found that interesting. Yeah.
No, I mean it was as well as I was watching you play, and I was getting wrapped up into it. And I was like, "Fuck, Nick might lose this shit."
No,
This is
that was fun.
never in doubt.
I have I think I had revives and stuff, so
Okay. So if it came down to it, you could have nicked it out at the end.
maybe nicked it out.
like nick a win.
No. Saying steal?
Yeah, otherwise called, you nicked it.
I don't think that's how people call it. I don't.
That's
I
what
think you're
people
coming at
call
I
it.
think you're coming at my name right now, and I don't appreciate it.
No.
It's a nick means victory, sir. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that you barely got.
A victory is a victory.
Okay, Nixon.
I was playing Fall Guys with Spencer, because I was trying to recruit you, and you were like, "Yeah, we'll play it sometime." And I was like, "That's not soon enough." So Spencer was about to stream, and I was like, "Oh, you can stream Fall Guys with me? Crazy!" And he was like, "Oh, I can, I guess." I was like, "Great." And so we did that mode. So the mode was the soccer game in Fall Guys, but it was all sudden death. So whoever got the first goal won, and it would be 8v8, and then whoever won the team of 8 would then split in half, and it would be 4v4 of like the winner. So it'd be 2 rounds, and that's around the time when I was telling you, like, I feel like God is giving me his toughest battles, and but like when I did it with Spencer, we managed to get 5 wins in a row. So I got the infallible trophy, which is like the hardest trophy in Fall Guys, which is impressive. And then I realized it's currently impossible to get the platinum in Fall Guys because they changed it. And they reclassified a lot of the items. There's a trophy for wearing all legendary like items, but they when they did like the free to play update, they turned a lot of items that used to be legendary and just made them normal. So there currently aren't any legendary colors or patterns in the game. So the trophy's impossible. I'm like, then why the fuck did I work so hard to get those 5 wins? Like,
Do you remember the Tiger Woods trophy that was impossible for people to get?
no. I mean,
It was like,
impossible trophies aren't that like they happen occasionally, but like for Fall Guys, I was surprised because it worked before.
this was back in the really early days where like people were like having no idea of how to classify. They were just like, fuck it, we'll throw in some crazy shit. Like, if you remember in GTA 4, they had the fucking trophy of you had to kill a Rockstar employee.
Oh, I know why that. Oh yeah, cut your teeth.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna
And then-
hold on real quick because I'm gonna cut this
I know.
part. I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, it's... What are you gonna do? Pull up to your crib, get into your Wi-Fi?
I mean, the last thing I need is them taking all my porn.
The rent is too damn high in New York.
Had a weird thing happen this morning where my 5G network went down, and has not come back up. My normal network is fine. I don't know why it is. It just like
These internet service providers are horrible.
I agree, but I'm not sure if that's the ISP or if that's my my router.
I actually was watching something on TikTok of all places where some tech employee was just like, most of the time your shitty Wi-Fi is because the router that the service provider gives you is the worst of
But
its
yeah,
kind.
I didn't buy that. I bought a separate one. That's why I'm like, I don't know if it's my
okay.
router. Okay, so our Pokemon.
I've been thinking about buying a router.
So our Pokemon, when they hit level 30, are gonna stop listening to me because this game is great. In past games,
that's good.
every time you get a badge, they would be like, "Oh, Pokemon up to level 30 will obey you," and then the next badge would be like, "Pokemon up to level 40." But this one, it's every 2 badges for some reason. So all
That
of this,
creates a rough little bottleneck.
well, so if you catch the Pokemon yourself, it doesn't affect it. But I traded 5 of
Okay.
these, so like it's basically being like, "Oh, play the game fair," and it's B going, "I don't think so." Over my dead body. So we should swap these guys out for another team.
That reminds me randomly of how the economy in Assassin's Creed 2 was so severely broken.
What do you mean?
That so it was some way of like you were if you bought certain parts of like because for those who have never played Assassin's Creed 2, there's
It's
a
the
little
only good
fucking
Assassin's Creed. You should play it. That's not true.
There's
But it's
an-
fine.
yeah. There's an investing part of the game where if you like spend a little bit of money and you fix up this little town, it'll generate so much money per whatever.
Oh,
but-
that's in Brotherhood. That's not in 2.
No, it's in 2, but in Brotherhood they fix it so that way it's not completely
Oh, you're
broken.
right. You're right. It is in 2.
In 2, it's so dumb because if you buy 2 things, they generate money quicker than anything else. Like it's a bit of a steeper thing, but as soon as you get that rolling, and as soon as you buy everything, like everything else, become so flush with cash that like you no longer have to worry about like upgrading items, and like in a couple hours you can just buy the best item in the game and steamroll fights.
You can also just leave the game running, and then just pick up the chest every so often. 'Cause it's like a chest of money that it has for you.
But I sometimes I miss kind of how games are broken. As I'm replaying Jack 2, that's a broken fucking game.
It's a very broken game.
But it also, I will say something. Maybe this is me being like
member berries.
No, because being too like thinking that it is what it is, but it's not. I was just playing poorly. Because I did start replaying it originally on a PS2, and I was like, oh, this game isn't that hard. But when I was replaying it on like the PS4 remaster that you can get on PS Plus, I was having like a little bit of harder of a time. But I think I might have just been higher.
No, it's actually so it's one of those weird effects where when we were kids, we put up with a lot more. Because it's the whole thing of like, well, I don't own very many games, so gotta make do with what I have. I am convinced that's the only reason people like Digimon World 4, which I don't know how much you know about it, but instead of battling with your Digimon like using Digimon moves like Pepper Breath and all that stuff, you use weapons like axes and swords, and instead of leveling up to Digivolve, you Digivolve by doing obscure side quests that aren't required to beat. And not only that, you have to score well enough in the side quest to get it. You can't just like get it for beating it. And it's also like every Digimon gets like 2 Digivolutions per difficulty, and the difficulties are normal, hard, and very hard. It was made by the devs who went on to make a little game called Demon Souls.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know.
So they never ever amounted to anything.
I don't know how true that is. It's like a very, for me, it's like a very big theory, because it's both done by Bandai Namco. Digimon World 4 came out like a year or two before Demon Souls, and like enough people could have like moved from one project to the other. Like this is pretty like, I feel like it could happen.
There's gotta be one guy at least a couple of people that share credits on.
Yeah, right. I haven't looked at the credits next to each other, but I should. Anyway, but what I was trying to say is I have Platinum Jack 2 3 times. I played it on PS3, I played it on PS4, and I played it on Vita. And that game is hard. For no reason. I think some of the 60 FPS changes made it harder in a way. That game's 60 FPS on PS4, right?
I think so. Actually, no. That's the issue. It's 30 frames per second. On the PS2, it's 60. Oh,
that makes things different. So, do you want to know what it is in the Vita? It's 20.
Oh, fuck
yeah,
that.
it's bad on the Vita. Anytime you use the like either the jetboard or any of the zoomers, like in like the middle city area, like the one where you go from like the slums to area or cruise area, not core. It just like chugs. It goes 15 to 20 like frames per second.
Oh, that's good because you're never driving over there.
Do you? Yeah, it's not the whole part of the game. Do you want to know another fun fact about the Vita port? You know how R2 is to switch lanes?
Yeah.
Either like going like on the high lane or the low lane. In on the Vita, there's only 2 shoulder buttons. There's the L button and the R button. There isn't an L2 and R2. Do you know what the geniuses at Mass Media who ported the Jack games did?
Use the touch bar on the back?
Yep, use the touchpad on the back. Do you know what's the most unnatural movement in the world for L2 and R2? The touchpad on the back. It's like you have to turn your hand into like a weird claw, because like you're using your middle finger to do it. Like picture holding, like picture playing a game holding it, like picture your Switch, and picture trying to hit like the back of the Switch with your middle fingers to like change lanes and stuff like that.
Nah,
no, it's not possible. So I had to I had to buy a grip for the Vita, which I wanted anyway because I played a ton of Vita at the time. But the grip made it so like it gave you an L2 and R2 button that would like touch the touchpad for you. So like it made it playable to an extent. Shit's wild though, and I think I recorded a playthrough of Jak 2. I think I streamed it.
Yeah, you streamed it because I remember watching it.
There are a couple missions in that game that are straight bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
I think we talked about it already. There's the dock one where you get ambushed by the Crimson Guard.
Yeah, that
That one's infamous as the hardest mission in the game. There's that one. There's oh fuck, what's the other move? Or what's the other?
The racing one, I remember.
The racing ones have real bad rubber banding. And there's a super cool thing where your bike can get damaged in the racing missions, but enemies can't. So like you have to go like 3 to 5 laps with the same bike with everyone crashing into you, and if you die once, you have to restart the entire race instead of like a Lakitu like pulling you out of the fucking grave or whatever. It's great. You just brought back so much like such stuff I buried. Like, I've talked about this before, but you know what game did not age well, and I don't think you're gonna agree with me here.
Slide 2?
It's Slide 2.
I remember you talking about it, and I remember streaming a little bit of it, and being like, I think Slide 2...
I still think Slide 2 and Slide 3 are very good games, but there are a couple missions in those games where I'm like, this is so needlessly difficult.
Oh, driving the tank?
The tank was miserable because it doesn't even operate on tank controls, which is what were created for driving tanks. Like, I think you have 2 treads, and I think so. You have the L button and the R, or the left stick and the right stick. And I think the left stick brings you forward, and the right stick brings you backward. That's how they decided to control the tank.
Oh yeah, and you have to like, I just remember it being like the slowest movement possible. Josephine, I will sell you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know you don't actually love her as much as you love me.
Wow. She's really wilding out.
Can you like strangle your god or your dog? Can you strangle dog for me or god for me? I did it twice. What the fuck? All right, well that ends the 10-year anniversary episode, I guess. Even though this is gonna come out a full month after my anniversary.
But it's even better. You can say it's got the interview where we really get to the meat of things.
I'll definitely remember that too. Oh. We can talk about more next week.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. We've been going for a while, so.
All right, no worries.
Thank you guys.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about stuff we talked about, let me know. If you want to be one of those cool people, leave a comment. What should we give for prompt for a comment if they made it this far?
What's your least favorite PS2 platformer?
That's a good one, actually. Or so, what's your least favorite PS2 platformer? I'll give you one better. What's a game that you really, really enjoyed the first time you played it, and when you went back to it, you're like, I actually hate this game? Because that's a more broad question.
Oh yeah.
Carlos, what about you? What's one that you like went back? What's a game you've gone back to and like, I really don't know what the fuck I was talking about the first time I played this? Tell you what, I'll make a note of it, and we can come back to it next time.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't have an answer either. So
we'll read some comments. We'll talk about it.
We won't read comments.
Actually, we won't read some comments.
Video, Carlos, tomorrow, part 1 is public. So,
oh shit!
And this is
I saw it.
And this is part 7. So no, we won't be reading comments next week.
Maybe we put it in the Discord.
We can. Maybe it could be a fun one. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.